The story of the trial and torture of Jesus really isn't suitable for children, is it? Anyway, he was on his way to be crucified and he was supposed to be carrying his own cross. In fact, John's Gospel says he did carry the cross, but the other three Gospels say that Simon of Cyrene was pulled out of the crowd and made to carry it, because Jesus presumably was so ill, having been flogged so much, tired, exhausted, couldn't do it. And then Luke slips in a story which is actually not in any of the other Gospels, and it presents quite a different picture of Jesus. So we've got this picture of him exhausted, tortured, in great pain, and then he begins to talk quite normally and calmly. Listen to one or two of the verses. Some women were crying and beating their breasts, and he says to them, "Daughters of Jerusalem, do not weep for me, but weep for yourselves and your children. For the days are surely coming when they will say, Blessed are the barren and the wombs that never bore, and the breasts that never nursed." And that's strange. Here we've got a man in agony, suddenly calmly talking to these women and comforting them and actually warning them. Well, why would they need warning then? But of course, several years later, decades later, Christians were under a great deal of pressure and persecution. That's when they needed the reassurance. So it may well have been written a lot later to comfort people who lived a lot later. Can I be sure? No, of course I can't be sure of this. But it just doesn't ring true that Jesus was having this calm, measured, didactic way of talking at the same time that he was unable to carry the cross because of his torture. It reminds me, of course, that these Gospels are not history. They are actually trying to persuade us to believe in Jesus, or, if we're already believers, it's trying to educate us about the faith. So they're not just plain history, and lots of the things in them just don't seem to be plainly historical, do they?
It ain't necessarily so. It ain't necessarily so. The things that you're liable to read in the Bible, it ain't necessary.